Mary's is a name that carries history, culture, and meaning across different times and places. It is a name that has been used in religion, literature, tradition, and in modern society. When we think of Marys, the first association often comes from one of the most significant figures in Christianity, Mary the mother of Jesus, who symbolizes purity, faith, and devotion. But the name Mary has also traveled beyond religious contexts and has been adopted across cultures as a common given name for women, with variations like Maria, Marie, Miriam, and Mariam. Each version carries its own cultural background, yet they are all linked by the same deep roots. Over the centuries, Mary has been a popular name among royalty, saints, writers, and ordinary people, making it one of the most recognizable names in the world. When we look at the history of Marys, it is impossible to ignore the biblical connection. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is one of the most revered figures in Christian theology. She is seen as a symbol of obedience to God, a humble woman chosen for one of the most significant roles in religious history. Her story has been depicted in countless paintings, sculptures, and works of literature, and her influence extends far beyond just religion. In Catholicism, she is given special reverence as the Blessed Virgin Mary, and many cathedrals and churches around the world are dedicated to her. But the reach of Marys goes beyond this one figure. There are other Marys in the Bible, such as Mary Magdalene, who is remembered as a devoted follower of Jesus. She has been represented in various ways in history, sometimes misunderstood, but always significant in shaping the narrative of Christianity. Together, these Marys show how the name has been tied to stories of faith, strength, and transformation. Moving outside religion, the name Mary has played a huge role in literature and culture. Writers throughout history have chosen the name Mary for their characters, often to symbolize innocence, reliability, or simplicity. For example, in English nursery rhymes, Mary Had a Little Lamb has become one of the most famous and widely taught rhymes for children. The name appears in novels, poems, and plays, where it often carries with it a sense of familiarity and timelessness. Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein, is one of the most well-known women in literary history. Her groundbreaking work not only gave birth to modern science fiction but also established her as one of the most important female writers of her time. Through her, the name Mary is connected to innovation, creativity, and courage. This shows that Marys are not only symbols of purity and faith but also of strength, intelligence, and originality. In history, many queens and noblewomen have carried the name Mary. Mary, Queen of Scots, is a famous historical figure whose life story was full of drama, power struggles, and tragedy. She was a woman caught in the political turbulence of her time, and her legacy continues to be studied and retold in books, films, and documentaries. Mary I of England, also known as Bloody Mary, is another figure whose name has become famous, though with a darker legacy due to her attempt to restore Catholicism in England. These royal Marys left strong impressions on history, shaping politics, religion, and culture in their time. Their lives reflect how a name can carry weight and influence across centuries, representing not just individuals but also the eras they lived in. The popularity of the name Mary also spread through migration and colonization. In America, the name became extremely common among settlers, and it remained one of the most popular names for girls throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. Many American families named their daughters Mary as a sign of tradition and continuity. Even today, though it is not as dominant as it once was, the name still holds a sense of classic beauty. In different cultures, the variations of Mary, such as Maria in Spanish and Italian, Marie in French, Miriam in Hebrew, and Mariam in Arabic, show how the name has adapted to different languages and traditions while maintaining its original essence. This adaptability is one of the reasons Mary has lasted so long and remains meaningful across the globe. When thinking about Marys in popular culture, we see how the name appears in music, film, and art. Many songs have been written with the name Mary in the lyrics, often used to describe a woman who is cherished, loved, or remembered. In films, characters named Mary often embody roles of trustworthiness, romance, or inspiration. Famous actresses like Mary Pickford helped shape early Hollywood, while modern figures continue to carry the name with pride. Even in fashion, design, and entertainment, Marys have left their mark, contributing to the creative industries in unique ways. The name is versatile enough to be seen as both classic and modern, which is why it continues to be chosen by parents today. Another layer of Marys is how the name ties into everyday life and community. Many schools, hospitals, and institutions are named after Saint Mary or simply carry the name Mary as a way to inspire a sense of trust and compassion. Streets, towns, and landmarks across the world bear the name Mary, reflecting the deep influence the name has had on societies. Even drinks and food items carry the name, like the famous cocktail, Bloody Mary, showing how the name has found its way into casual, everyday references. It is interesting to see how a name that began with sacred and historical weight has now also become a part of ordinary conversations and pop culture. The endurance of the name Mary is also tied to its simplicity. It is short, easy to pronounce, and easily adaptable across languages. This simplicity is part of its charm and one of the reasons it has stayed popular for so long. While naming trends come and go, Mary has remained a constant presence, even when newer names dominate birth records. For many families, naming a daughter Mary is a way of connecting to heritage, faith, or family traditions. Often, Mary is combined with other names to create double names like Mary Ann, Mary Jane, or Mary Elizabeth, giving it flexibility while keeping its traditional feel intact. This versatility allows Mary to continue being relevant while also respecting its long history. When we reflect on Mary's, we see a name that is not just a label but a story carried through generations. It has been tied to saints, queens, writers, artists, and everyday women who have shaped their families and communities. Each Mary brings her own identity and achievements, yet they all connect back to a shared legacy that stretches across time and place. Whether in sacred texts, royal courts, literature, or modern pop culture, Marys have stood as symbols of faith, strength, creativity, and resilience. The name carries with it a richness that few names can match, blending history, tradition, and modern relevance. That is why